Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. I just read an article. Well, actually, I didn't. I actually saw the ad before I read the article. I decided to do the article for this video, but I saw an ad the other day on one of YouTube channel subscriptions. I think it may have been my boy Brandon T. Tatum. Y'all all know him, okay? If you don't know him, then oh my goodness, you ain't been around. But I watched the ad that he put out, and it was basically about and I don't want to give away too much of it, but it's basically about a black conservative male who created an ad campaign where he's basically holding a rifle. I think it's an AR-15. And he's in his home, and he's holding what might be an AR-15. And so I'm not no gun expert. So if you see the ad, then you can check it out. But the point is, he's holding the gun, and the KKK is coming in at him, with pitchforks and all this kind of stuff. And you have to see the ad. It's only like 30 seconds of this ad. You have to see the ad. It's pretty much out there. So what I'm hearing is that there's a lot of controversy about the ad. Of course, the Democrats and the liberals are butthurt about it, of course, and they're getting upset about it, although they made crazy ads as well. But that's not what was interesting to me. I think what's interesting to me is the fact that this individual African-American politician who's running for the Senate in Arizona, I believe. There's that. Not only is he black, but that he's a pastor, and that's particularly encouraging for me because being a associate pastor, I'm not a senior pastor clearly, but being an associate pastor and having been a Christian for most of my life, I've been a Christian since I've been born again Christian since I've been 16 years old, and all my life, most of the people that I've known in the church, just about all of them are Democrats, or they talk Democratic talking points. And it's hard to find someone in the church, in the black church, in my experience, that's either Republican or conservative. It's very hard. It's almost like you have to be hush hush if you're a black Christian conservative in your church. And that's kind of how it is. And at one point, to be quite honest with you, I got discouraged. I was like, man, I know they're out there. I see them, Brandon T. Tatum, Anthony Brown Logan, people whom people have compared me to and said that I'm a bootleg version of Anthony Brown Logan. I get it, ha, 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 but I'm my own man. Okay. I'm those guys, Patricia Dixon, all these are, well, I don't know if Anthony Brown Logan, he's not a Christian, but he's a conservative, and that's all that matters to me. But Patricia Dixon, Brandon T. Tatum, they're Christians. And Carol W. Swain, I believe, she's a Christian and black Christian. So these people, they're black Christians, but they're not in my church. They're not in my church. They're not people that I talk to on my job. It's very few of them, and it's very, maybe I should use the term discouraging. Maybe I should use the term, I don't know what term to use. It just isn't pleasant. It just isn't pleasant, but it's encouraging to me to see not only a black conservative creating an ad to combat the Democrats, because I think he's running for the Senate seat in Arizona, but he's a black pastor. And that's encouraging me. So look, I'm going to read just a small portion of this article. I know I've jammed on it. I'm just going to read a small portion of this article from Red State. And I'm going to let you guys listen in. If you have not seen the ad, I'm going to let you listen in on the audio clip that I have of the ad. It's only like 30 seconds. Then I'm going to give you a little bit more of my commentary on why I think this is encouraging and what I think about him using this gun to bring forth his point in his campaign. Doing his campaign. So the article starts off with, And by the way, let me say this real quick before I go any further. This article is somewhat of an opinion piece, so you can hear some of the opinions of bias. Well, I won't say biased opinions, but you can hear some of the emotions of the writer of this article in this article itself. So this is somewhat an opinion piece, but I want to get at some of the factual data that's in it. So it says Representative Paul Gosar currently represents the 4th congressional district in Arizona, but he's running in 2022. So that leaves Arizona up for grabs, with several Republican candidates trying to win the primary on August the 2nd. I don't know if I've skipped something here. Let me see. No, I didn't. Okay. So the article goes on. Davidson may have just set himself apart from the field with an ad that's lighting up the internet. It's already garnered more than 1 million views. Davidson is a former Arizona State University and NFL running back, according to his campaign website. He's also been a pastor since 2005. Now, what his denomination is, I don't care. The fact of the matter is he's a conservative, and he's black, and he's a pastor. And that's encouraging to me. But the ad wasn't about his football career or his work as a pastor. It was on our Second Amendment rights and how wrong Democrats are to tell us what we, quote, need when it comes to guns or magazines. That's a common theme from folks like Joe Biden, who tells us we don't, quote, need an AR-15, and we don't, quote, need 30 rounds. So I just wanted you guys to listen in on this 30-second ad here of the black senator. I just want you guys to listen in on this. It's pretty interesting.
Democrats like to say that no one needs an AR-15 for self-defense, that no one could possibly need all 30 rounds. But when this rifle is the only thing standing between your family and a dozen angry Democrats in Klan hoods, you just might need that semi-automatic and all 30 rounds.
Now, if you've seen the actual ad for that, you might think it's controversial. Man, why would he use this AR-15 in the ad? It's pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy duty, as I said earlier in the video. It's pretty heavy. And you might consider it controversial. Some people might consider it controversial. Okay? But that's what politicians do. And that's what people do when they're running for office. Sometimes they'll come up with something that's very controversial, that's very mind-blowing. And now, the question is, some of you might be asking, what do I think about this? I don't think anything's wrong with it. I think that it's radical, without a doubt. But many of the policies that the Democrats are putting in place are radical. So why not create an ad that is just as radical? After all, it was the former Democratic Party. It was a Democratic Party that was the creator of the KKK. And in the ad, you see the KKK coming at him. It was a Democratic Party that created. It was the Democratic politicians that created the Jim Crow laws in the South. All right, and it was a Democratic Party that upheld slavery. It was a Democratic Party that resisted and pushed against the Republican Party, trying to win freedoms for black people. The first civil rights bill that was created in 1866 didn't go anywhere. You want to know why? Because the Democrats fought against it. The Republicans created that bill, but the Democrats fought against it, and that's why it didn't go anywhere. But people are always talking about the civil rights bill that was created in 1964 and 1965 by Lyndon B. Johnson, who was a racist. And according to one source, now I'm not going to go into the detail about what his purposes were in doing this, but according to one source, says that when he was being, I think it was the butler or the one of Lyndon B. Johnson's aides or whatever, said that they overheard him saying that I'm going to have those ends, N-word, I'm going to have those ends voting Democrat for 200 years. Now, whether or not he said that or not, no one can prove. In my heart, I believe he did say it. I believe he did say it, and he was right. Blacks have been voting for the Democratic Party, the very party that wanted to keep slavery, the very party that promoted Jim Crow laws, the very party that promoted true racism, the very party that created the KKK to lynch thousands of blacks. Black people voting for him. 90%, at 90%. Now you tell me the rationale behind this. I have to hand it to the Democrats. They were ingenious in their deceptive ways, and they still are ingenious. But this man here, so talking about radical stuff, the Democrats were and are radical today because they push for policies that are clearly radical the way I see it. And so this Republican Christian pastor, black Christian Republican pastor, created an ad that appears to be radical. What's the difference? Is okay for them to be radical, but it's not okay for this black pastor to be radical with this ad? Hey, I support it. I'm all for it. But I just wanted to say that's my spin on that. I don't have a problem with this ad. Some people may say, well, that's kind of insensitive for them to do that with all these shootings going on and so forth, with AR-15s and so forth. That might be kind of insensitive. But I think that this is a tactic that he's using to provoke anger in the Democrats, to get a lot of the nastiness that's in them to come out anyway, because they keep putting their foot in their mouth anyway. And I'm talking about the politician people. They keep putting their foot in their mouth anyway. So I think that this is a strategic tactic that he's using to get them to put both of their feet in their mouth, to make them look even worse. Because what's going to happen? They're going to start getting upset and mad because he made this ad. Man, come on. Democrats have been lying and saying things that contradict themselves for I don't know how long. We're not going to go into all of that. But what do you guys think about this? You think this is too radical? I don't think it's too radical. I think it was strategic, and I think he had a purpose behind it. But once again, at the end of this video, I'm encouraged to know that there are other black conservative pastors that are out here who believe in our Second Amendment rights and who have conservative values. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. God bless you all, and see you again on another Black Conservative.